Listen up, family, let me take you somewhere real for a moment. Picture this, I'm standing in front of a mirror late at night after a long day on set, the world's applause still ringing in my ears. But in that quiet, when it's just me and my reflection, I hear a whisper not from the crowd, but from deep within. It's my soul saying, Denzel, enough is enough. Enough playing small to keep others comfortable. Enough carrying pain like it's my badge of honor. Enough letting folks walk over my spirit because I'm afraid to rock the boat. That moment hit me like a freight train, and I know you've had one too, a moment when God himself nudges you, saying, child, you were made for more. Today I'm here to talk to you heart to heart about 6 behaviors you must never tolerate, not from others, not from yourself. This ain't just a speech, it's a wake-up call, a spiritual reckoning, a healing journey rooted in the truth of God's word. So grab a seat, open your heart, and let's get real. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because we're building a movement of souls rising in purpose, faith, and love. Let's go. Disrespect. Guarding the temple of your soul. There comes a time when you've got to look yourself square in the eye and declare no more. No more pretending. Disrespect doesn't sting. No more swallowing words that break your spirit. No more letting people slip through the cracks of your boundaries like they own the place. Family, you are not weak. You are not a doormat. You are not some shattered soul begging for someone to patch you up, especially not folks who thrive on keeping you small. You've been carrying pain like it's your calling, but let me tell you what God says. Your calling ain't suffering in silence. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 proclaims God has plans to prosper you, to give you hope and a future, not to let you drown in disrespect. You weren't made to nurture dead relationships, fuel toxic flames, or endure behavior that strips your dignity. You have God's permission, his command to walk away, to say, this ain't love, this ain't respect, this ain't what my Creator designed me for. If they call you too emotional, let him talk. If they say you've changed, praise God for it. Growth looks like betrayal to those stuck in the mud, but you're not meant to linger where your soul starves. Disrespect ain't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper. It's that look that says you don't matter. The interruption when you're pouring your heart out. The joke that cuts deeper than a knife. The tone that screams you're invisible. Too many of us were raised to grin and bear it, to keep the peace, to laugh it off, to shrink so we don't ruffle feathers. But silence ain't strength when it's killing your self-worth. Silence ain't peace when it's letting your spirit decay. Psalm chapter 139 verse 14 declares, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Disrespect is an attack on God's masterpiece. I know it's tough to speak up, especially when you were taught to avoid conflict, to be the bigger person. But when you stay quiet in the face of disrespect, you're not dodging drama, you're inviting destruction. You're teaching folks how to treat you. And if you let it slide once, they'll bring it back colder, sharper, meaner. Think about it. I remember a time early in my career auditioning for a role, pouring my soul into it, only to have a director cut me off mid-sentence, dismissing me like I was nothing. That sting. It wasn't just pride, it was my spirit saying, this ain't right. People who value you don't test how far they can push before you break. They don't hide jabs in just joking. They don't belittle your dreams or mock your growth. When you feel that gut punch, that pause in your heart, that's God whispering through your spirit. That was disrespect. But we've been conditioned to doubt that voice, to think we're overreacting, to tell ourselves it wasn't that bad. Let me ask you, how many not that bad moments does it take to dim a light as bright as yours? One act of disrespect might not break you, but 1,000 little cuts will bleed your spirit dry if you don't stand firm. They'll make you question your worth, your value, your right to feel what you feel. But you have the right to feel disrespected. You have the right to say, I let it slide before, but not today. You owe it to the person God's shaping you to be, the healed, whole, radiant you, to protect your peace now. Speak up, not to fight, but to stand in your truth. It ain't about being loud, it's about being clear. It's about walking into every room knowing you're a child of the King, that your presence is a gift, not a favor someone grants you. Disrespect doesn't just test your boundaries, it challenges your worth. If you stay silent every time someone crosses that line, they'll think they own the ground you stand on. They'll act like they can say anything, do anything, and you'll take it to keep the peace. But maybe that peace needs to be shaken. Maybe the storm you bring by speaking up is God's way of clearing the air. Let them squirm. Let them feel the shift when you refuse to accept what never should have been. Respect is the baseline, non-negotiable, rooted in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 17, which calls us to honor all people. When folks see you won't bend, they'll either step up or step out, and either way, you're winning, because silence costs too much when it erodes who God made you to be. Disrespect wears many faces. It's the producer who talks over you like your ideas are worthless. It's the partner who brushes off your feelings, calling you too sensitive. It's the friend who only calls when they need a favor, ghosting when you need them. Sometimes it's even you, telling yourself to stay small so others don't feel threatened. But the longer you stay where disrespect is normal, the more you start believing you're asking too much by wanting basic decency. That's a lie from the enemy. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10 confirms you're God's handiwork, created for good works, not to beg for respect. Silence feeds that lie, making you think this is just how it is. But when someone shows they don't value your boundaries, your time, your spirit, you don't have to fight them, you face them. Say, I see you, and I'm done staying quiet. Because when you honor your voice, God amplifies it. The world starts to echo your worth back. Speaking up is scary. It might cost you relationships, comfort, that surface-level calm you've been clinging to. But real peace, the kind Jesus promises in John chapter 16, verse 33, runs deep, and it only comes when truth lives free. If that truth is that someone's mistreating you, let it rise. Let it roar if it has to. You don't need everyone's approval. You need to be true to the soul God gave you. Those who profit from your silence will call you difficult. When you speak, let them. Every time you stand against disrespect, you're telling your younger self, your future self, your God-given soul, I choose you. That choice is power. It's the root of self-respect, the seed of healing, the foundation of a life that refuses half-hearted love, empty apologies, or disrespect disguised as that's just me. No, you set the standard, and if they can't meet it, they don't get to stay in your story. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to swing to stand firm. You just need to be rooted in your worth, rooted in God's truth that you are enough. Some folks won't see your value until you cut their access to you. Let them learn the hard way. Let them realize you're not a revolving door for their convenience. You're not open for disrespect. And you're not afraid to walk alone if it means guarding your peace. That's not weakness, that's strength, pure and holy, anchored in Psalm chapter 18, verse 2. Where God is your rock and fortress. Knowing who you are so deeply that you reject anything less than God's best for you, that's a game changer. When you raise your standard, you don't just push out the wrong people. You make space for the right ones, those who see you, hear you, honor you because they know the treasure you are. But it starts with you saying, no more silence, never again. Some will twist your boundaries into pride, call you too sensitive, too much. That's just noise. You weren't born to live muted, to make everyone else comfortable at your expense. The real you, the bold you, the God-breathed you knows love without respect ain't love. Friendship without honor ain't friendship. Leadership without dignity ain't leadership. When you decide you'll never settle for less than respect, your world shifts. You carry a different energy, walk with a different swagger, speak with a different fire. You stop apologizing for existing, and you see silence was never your shield, it was your chain. So rise, family, rise with a voice full of God's truth, a spine forged in His courage, a soul that won't be dimmed. Disrespect may knock, but you've locked the door with your God-given worth, and you've remembered who you are, a child of the Most High. Manipulation disguised as love, breaking free from chains. Have you ever had someone say, I love you, but it felt more like a leash than a lifeline? That's not love, family, that's manipulation dressed up in Sunday clothes. It's someone pulling your heartstrings like they're playing a solo, using your soul for their stage. It hurts because it don't come with a fist, it comes with a whisper. It sneaks in as attention, affection, even protection, then turn to control over your choices, your confidence, your freedom to breathe without checking their mood. Real love lifts you up. Real love sets you free. Like John chapter 8 verse 36 promises, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. But manipulation? It locks you in a cage while convincing you it's for your safety. They make you think you need them to be whole. And over time, you start buying that lie. You measure your worth by how well you keep them happy, how little you ask, how much of yourself you can sacrifice. That ain't love, that's theft. It's emotional robbery, and it's time to call it out. Because God's love don't leave you drained. It don't make you doubt your sanity. That's manipulation, plain and true. It shows up slick. Like when they guilt you for setting boundaries. You say, I need space. And they act like you just broke their heart. They flip the script, you're the bad guy now, cold, uncaring, abandoning them. Next thing you know, you're apologizing for trying to protect your peace. You shrink your needs to fit their feelings, and that's how they hook you. Bit by bit, they train you to think sacrifice equals love. But love don't demand your blood. Love don't weaponize your kindness. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 14 reveals that Christ's love compels us, not controls us. Manipulators make their chaos look like passion. They keep you dizzy, confused, playing both the storm and the shelter. One minute they're tearing you down, the next they're holding you, saying, I'm tough on you 'cause I care. That ain't care, that's control wrapped in sweet talk. They're rewriting your reality until you doubt your own mind. Don't fall for it. Don't trade your God-given clarity for their closeness. If they only bring peace after causing chaos, that's not love, that's leverage. I've seen it, family. Early in my life, I had a relationship where every I love you came with strings. I'd feel that knot in my gut, but I'd ignore it, thinking if I just love harder, it'll get better. Manipulators keep score, but you're always in debt. They catalog your mistakes, your shortcomings, but forget the times they broke you. You forgive, keep giving, because your heart's pure, but they're tallying your flaws like a ledger. You stay hoping if I try harder, they'll change, but manipulation don't respond to love, it feeds on it. The more you pour, the more they take, turning your kindness into duty. You ain't loving freely no more, you're performing, tiptoeing through pain. You hide your true feelings, knowing they'll twist your words against you. That's emotional warfare, not love. Love don't trap you in a maze, making you prove your worth for basic decency. If they gotta break you to keep you close, that's fear, not love. They don't want a partner, they want a possession. And you were made to be cherished, as Ephesians chapter 1 verse 4 affirms, chosen in Christ before the world began. Manipulation feels normal when it's all you've known. Maybe you grew up where love came with conditions, where affection was a reward, approval a tightrope. So when someone gives you a crumb of love, then snatches it back, it feels familiar. But familiar ain't right. Don't mistake trauma bonds for God's love. Don't confuse intensity for intimacy. Manipulators make the highs so high you ignore the lows. They dangle hope to keep you hooked. Love bombing with apologies, promises, tears. But it's a cycle. They don't want to lose you, they want to keep you under them. Those baby forever, you're everything words. Empty without respect. Love without truth is a performance. And a performance without God's truth is a lie. You need love that's safe, consistent, like the steadfast love of Psalm chapter 136. Not love that's a game of hot and cold. Manipulators isolate you, not always physically, but emotionally. They plant doubts. Your friends don't get you. Your family's too nosy. Only I know you. It feels romantic at first, like they're your soulmate, but it's control, not connection. They want to be your whole world so they can shape it. The fewer voices you hear, the louder theirs gets. Soon you're alone, confused, doubting the people who grounded you. That's not love, that's a strategy to make you dependent. When they hurt you, there's no one to say, "This ain't right." You're stuck in their version of truth, losing yourself. Stay sharp, family. Trust those who want you to shine everywhere, not just with them. Real love, like 1 John chapter 4, verse 18, casts out fear, not your lifelines. It celebrates your freedom, not cages it. When your feelings get dismissed, you're hurt. They say you're overreacting. You set a boundary. They call you selfish. You share your needs. And suddenly you're the problem. That's not resolution, that's gaslighting. They're training you to doubt your heart until you don't trust yourself. Once they've got you there, they can do anything. You start thinking you're broken, lucky anyone deals with you, hard to love. That's a lie. Your emotional depth ain't a flaw, it's a gift from God. Manipulators target that gift because it's easier to control someone who feels deeply. Hold fast to your truth. Don't let anyone tell you how to feel. Don't let them convince you love should hurt more than it heals. You ain't too much, you're too awake to be tamed. As Romans chapter 12, verse 2 urges, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The biggest lie is that it's your fault. If you were better, quieter, less you, they wouldn't act this way. You carry their blame, dim your light to ease their darkness. But they choose their actions. You ain't responsible for their wounds or their stunted growth. No amount of shrinking will turn manipulation into love. Your job ain't saving them, it's saving yourself. That takes courage, standing before God and saying, I deserve more than survival. Manipulation keeps you in survival mode, always on edge, bracing for the next blow. That ain't living, that's enduring. You were born to experience love fully, freely, fearlessly, as 1 Corinthians chapter 13 describes. Don't apologize for waking up, for choosing clarity over chaos, for walking away from chains masquerading as affection. Your knowing is your freedom. Gaslighting your reality. Reclaiming God's truth. Ever had someone look you in the eye and deny what you know is true? That moment when your gut screams, I know what I saw, but their words twist your memory, that's gaslighting? Family. It's someone messing with your mind, rearranging your reality until you don't recognize yourself. It starts subtle, a small denial, a laugh when you bring up something serious. You're too sensitive, they say. Don't be dramatic. Suddenly you're doubting your own truth, thinking maybe you're wrong, maybe you're crazy. That's the poison. It don't just mess with your head, it shakes your soul. Once they make you question your reality, they can rewrite it. They become the author of your story and you're living in their lie. But your truth is sacred, grounded in John chapter 8, verse 32. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. No one gets to rewrite what God has written in your heart. If they bend your reality to keep power, they ain't loving you, they're trying to own you. Gaslighting is sneaky warfare. It ain't always loud, which makes it deadly. Sometimes it's just a question, a fake concern, you sure that's what happened? But the message is clear, you can't trust yourself. That lie creeps into your life, making you second-guess your feelings, memories, decisions. You get scared to speak your truth. You start leaning on them to tell you what's real. And that's a dangerous spot. When you hand someone the keys to your reality, they control your life. They'll use it to keep you small, easy to handle, all while playing innocent. I'm just helping, they say. But help don't silence you. Help don't erase you. Real love, like 1 John chapter 3, verse 18, is truth in action, not lies in disguise. You deserve a world where your truth is safe. Gaslighting makes you a stranger to yourself. You stop trusting your eyes, your art, your mind. You're holding proof, and they still say, that never happened. The more they repeat it, the more you wonder if they're right. That's how deep it cuts. I remember a time when someone close to me denied a promise they made, making me feel like I was losing my grip. It wasn't just about the promise, it was them trying to rewrite my reality. They do it so you'll apologize for their wrong, feel unreasonable for reacting. That's psychological warfare, not love. Your pain ain't imaginary. What you felt, saw, lived, it's real. If they make you fight to be believed, that's power, not love. They care more about being right than being righteous. And no child of God should be silenced to stroke someone's ego. It'll have you apologizing for pain you didn't cause, walking on eggshells, bleeding while pretending it's normal. That's when it's gone too far, when you protect the one hurting you because they've convinced you you're the problem. They'll gaslight and still call you beloved, tearing your sanity while smiling. But love don't strip your voice. It don't erase your truth. It don't reshape your their denial. Your truth is your anchor, like Psalm chapter 119, verse 160. The sum of your word is truth. Anyone trying to pull that anchor ain't loving you, they're unmaking you. Decide your peace, your truth, your soul is worth more than their comfort. You don't need their permission to own your story. You don't need their approval to feel what you feel. You were there. You lived it. That gut feeling saying something's off? That's God's Spirit guiding you, as John chapter 16, verse 13 promises. Gaslighters hate that intuition because they can't control it. They'll call you paranoid, emotional, say no one else would deal with you. That's them projecting their brokenness onto you. Your truth don't need to be pretty or convenient, it just needs to be yours. Speak it, and power returns. Believe it, and freedom grows. Freedom starts with saying, I trust me, not their spin, not their lies me. It's cruel to be hurt, then told it didn't happen, to be blamed for drowning when they pushed you under. That chokehold is worse when it's from someone you trusted, a friend, a lover, a parent, your safe place. When they make you doubt yourself, it breaks something sacred. But they can't touch that inner knowing, God's light in you. Hold it tight. It's your compass, your strength, even when it flickers. Every lie they tell, that light still burns. You ain't crazy. You're awake. As Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14 urges you to be awake and rise from the dead, so that Christ can shine upon you. Being awake means you don't stay in their lie. You walk out, rebuild. Because healing rewrites you in God's voice, strong, clear, rooted in truth. Truth ain't fragile. It don't break under pressure. When you speak it boldly, power flows back to your soul. You stop begging for permission to feel. Stop explaining to those who won't hear. You trust yourself again. That's healing, not waiting for their apology, but looking in the mirror and saying, I believe you. That's where freedom starts. Where the lie dies, where you rise. Consistent neglect, you are God's priority. Ever been surrounded by folks but felt unseen? That loneliness don't come from being alone, it comes from being ignored, overlooked, pushed aside like you don't matter. That's what neglect does, family. It gnaws at you. A thief stealing your worth one missed moment at a time. They don't yell or slam doors, they just don't call, don't show up. Don't ask how you're holding up. After a while, you wonder if you're too much, if being seen is too big a dream. That's the lie neglect whispers. But hear me, you ain't an afterthought. You ain't a shelf to be dusted when it's convenient. You're a priority, as Matthew chapter 6, verse 26 confirms. God cares for the birds, and how much more valuable are you? You deserve love that shows up, that don't need a nudge, that chooses you because you're worth it, not because it's obligated. Neglect teaches you to settle. When someone keeps failing to show up, you shrink. You stop asking for what you need, feeling like a burden. You water yourself down, hoping they'll notice. You become easy, stop expecting. Accept silence over disappointment. I've been there, waiting for a call that never came, heart sinking, telling myself it's fine, but your soul wasn't made for scraps. You weren't built to beg for love. Neglect shows where you stand in their life. Don't excuse it, it's a choice to ignore your worth. You don't have to prove you're enough. You are, as Psalm chapter 139, verse 14 declares, fearfully and wonderfully made. If they can't see it, it's their blindness, not your fault. Jealousy masquerading as friendship. Surround yourself with true cheerleaders. True friends celebrate your victories without hesitation. But jealousy sneaks in like a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's that friend whose smile doesn't reach their eyes when you share your blessings, that subtle chill when you shine. You want them in your joy, but some only feel tall when you're small. They stay close not to love you, but to measure themselves against you. Your light exposes their shadows, and instead of growing, they try to dim you. That's not friendship, it's competition. Sabotage wrapped in fake praise. It hurts to realize you've been rooting for someone who's hoping you'll stay behind. Real friends don't go quiet when you win. They don't flinch at your low. They cheer like it's their victory too. Jealousy whispers and backhanded compliments, sharp jokes, silent dismissals. You share a dream, and they change the subject. You hit a milestone, and they're Mia. You make excuses, maybe they're struggling, but the pattern don't lie. A love ain't threatened by your shine. If you're dimming your joy to protect their ego, you're in a war, not a friendship. True love, like Philippians 2:3-4 urges, values others above self, rejoicing in their success. It's tough when jealousy hides in history. You remember the late night talks, the shared struggles, thinking they're family. But real love grows with you. Some were cool when you were down but can't handle your rise. They liked you unsure and needy. Now that you're standing tall, their support fades, their jabs sharpen. Was it real? Maybe, but it wasn't built to last. Love don't resent your growth, it celebrates it. Keeping someone who envies your peace is poison. You deserve friends who feed your soul, not your doubts. Ever feel guilty for winning because it made someone feel small? That's their manipulation, making your blessings feel like burdens. You shrink your joy, hide your wins, but real love don't demand that. If they can't clap without comparing, that's their fight. You ain't here to carry their insecurities. You were made to soar, as Isaiah 40:31 promises. They'll mask envy as concern, don't get too big, but it's just a leash. Real friends pour courage into your fears, walk with you through storms. Be picky about who shapes your heart. Not every voice deserves a mic. The betrayal stings when it's someone staying close just to keep you in check, monitoring your moves to feel better about themselves. It's draining, their half-hearted love leaving you empty. Jealousy don't always want you to fail, it just don't want you to fly too high. It keeps you tethered so they don't face their own stagnation. But your rise ain't their threat. Your job is to keep shining, even if it means losing those who can't love your full self. Some love the old you they could control, but real ones love every you, even the one that outgrows them. You need folks who clap loud, who don't dim when you shine, who don't tally your wins as their losses. Real friends compliment, contribute, remind you of your grind. If you ain't got him yet, keep your circle tight. Don't let loneliness trap you in fake love. You ain't here to babysit egos or shrink your light. You're here to inspire, to stretch, to reflect God's glory. Let the envious fade out. You'll make room for love that lifts without limits, the kind that celebrates you fully. As 1 Corinthians 13:4-7 describes, that's your standard, and you deserve it all. Abuse of your kindness, the power of sacred boundaries. Kindness ain't a flaw, it's a superpower, a reflection of God's heart. But it don't mean you let folks trample it. The world sees your gentle soul and thinks you won't notice when they cross lines. They think your generosity means they can take endlessly, that your peace means you won't fight back. But your kindness is strength, rare and holy, as Galatians 5:22-23 lists among the Spirit's fruits. Even the strongest hearts break when used up. And you ain't here to be anyone's doormat. You can be kind and still say enough, because kindness don't mean open season for disrespect. It don't mean being a dumping ground for others' mess. Your kindness is a gift, not a right others claim, and it's time to guard it like the treasure it is. It's painful when folks only show up when they need you, draining your spirit, then ghosting when you say no. That's not love, that's convenience, using your heart like a pit stop. They know your worth. That's why they keep coming, guilt-tripping when you pull back. You hope giving more will make them see you, but they see what you give, not who you are. Kindness ain't sacrifice, it's a choice rooted in love, not guilt. You're not a machine, not an endless well for those who don't check on you. Protect your heart, as Proverbs 4:23 urges. Not everyone's heart is like yours. You love deep, show up, remember the small stuff, listen when no one else does. But some only call when they're desperate, leaning on you then leaving when you're breaking. You think you're too much, but you're just right. The issue ain't you, it's them not honoring your kindness, seeing it as weakness. Loving in a tough world takes guts, but don't let it chain you to users. You're more than their lifeline. You gotta stop proving your love to those who twist it. They take demand more, question your motives, act like you're just doing your job. That chips away, makes you feel selfish for saying no, but no is wholly a boundary God honors. The more you let folks walk on you, the harder it is to see your worth. You start measuring your value by how much pain you can take. But love don't hurt like that. If they only want what you give, they don't want you, they want the service. You deserve love, not use, as 1 John 4:16 affirms God's love in you. You don't owe peace to those who disrupt it. Loyalty to those who use your kindness as a pass to dump toxicity. Kindness ain't tolerance. You can be kind and still walk away saying no more. That's not harsh, it's self-respect, rooted in God's call to love yourself as you love others. Mark 12:31. They'll call you cold when you stop bleeding for them, but you didn't change, you stopped hurting. Kindness don't mean open to harm. You don't gotta burn out to light others' paths. That's self-neglect, not love. There's power in reclaiming your kindness, saying, I won't be used. You still love, but not for those who see your heart as a transaction. That's wisdom, growth, like James 1:17's perfect gifts from above. You deserve rest, relationships that refill you, to be seen for you, not just what you give. Protect your kindness, it's gold. Give it to those who match it. Walk away from those who treat it like it's owed. You're here to be loved, not used, fully and freely. If your kindness has been weaponized, your loyalty stretched thin, your love taken for granted, this is your moment, family. Let this truth sink deep. You ain't here to be used, ignored, manipulated, or broken by folks who take without giving, who twist your truth, who call control love, who hide jealousy behind smiles, or who treat your heart like a convenience store. You're here for more, to walk tall, boundaries firm, speaking truth without apology, loving without losing yourself, giving where you're honored, not drained. You deserve a life where your kindness is mirrored, your truth cherished, your love returned. You're worth seeing without you shouting it. The chains of manipulation, gaslighting, neglect, jealousy, abuse, they ain't yours to carry. You came to stand tall, love wisely, give where God leads. As Ephesians 2:10 declares, you're created for good works. Walking away from what's toxic ain't giving up, it's rising up. Starting over ain't failure, it's faith. The moment you reject what's unacceptable, your real life begins. Where peace is your right, kindness your gift, light your legacy. Go forward with fierce love for yourself, letting true souls rise to meet you, letting users fall away. You don't need a crowd, you need truth, realness, love without chains. Protect your heart. Keep it soft but strong. Be kind, loving, but fierce enough to never be used again. The world needs your spirit, not your silence, your heart, not your exhaustion. Keep growing, loving with wisdom. Knowing being good don't mean being walked on, it means choosing battle, standing in worth, walking away when love ain't right. Thank you for opening your heart, for daring to choose yourself. Now take this fire and share it. Comment, I'm rising below. Tag a friend who needs this. Spread this truth to your community. Pray with me, Lord, give us courage to stand, wisdom to love, strength to rise. Let us walk in your truth, free from chains, shining your light. Amen. Stay strong, stay kind, never settle for less than what honors your soul. Let's rise together, family, today, tomorrow, forever.